9:31, and it's about this time on Wednesdays we proudly present and have for quite some time now, Bruce L. Scheiner and Ask the Lawyer. Your questions about our legal system answered, and sometimes you're pointed in the right direction if you're having some kind of a difficulty. I think that's going to prove itself to be the case today. First, though, before we go anywhere else, would you please help me welcome Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured. Good morning, Bruce.
Hey, good morning, Todd. How are you doing this morning?
Excellent, just fine. How about you?
I'm doing very, very well, thank you. It's another beautiful day in Southwest Florida.
Hang on, because it's supposed to get a little stormy this afternoon, just so you know. I'm sure you do know.
Well, I take advantage of the sun when it's shining.
There you go. And besides, our lawns need the rain.
Right.
So we have another email question here, and I think you'll be able to shed some light on how this might be played out. You ready to listen in?
I am ready, Todd.
Okay. The email says, recently my sister was sexually assaulted by an Uber driver after getting a ride home. The driver had often offered to help carry some groceries into her house for her and then assaulted her. The police were called and later arrested the man who they had indicated had previous sexual assault charges in another state. She has contacted Uber to pay for her medical bills and counseling. The only response she received was that the driver had been terminated from Uber and that because he had signed off the app before his actions were not their responsibility. What can a lawyer do to help my sister? Seems like an awfully thin line they're walking, number one, Bruce. And number two, you're the right guy to ask because you present such extraordinary compassion in these delicate situations. So what do you think?
Well, I think that Uber has a real big problem. Just because he signed off doesn't give them a free pass, which is what they're asserting.
Mm-hmm.
They should have never let that person drive for Uber with a past record of sexual assault.
Mm-hmm.
I think Uber is on the hook, and their excuse is feeble at best.
Okay, so
but, this is a very timely question because this is Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
Oh.
So it's important because, sexual assault is such a problem in our society that they've designated this as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And in Charlotte County, there's an organization called CARE, which stands for the Center Abuse and Rape Emergency. And they have a crisis line that is answered 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. That's just to help our listeners. But this person specifically needs to immediately retain a compassionate, experienced lawyer because Uber can't get away from this, and Uber will be required to pay for past and future medical expenses. This poor lady is going to need counseling, pain and suffering, and any other damages that she sustained because of this sexual assault.
Yeah, because she's asking for medical bills and counseling. My question was going to be, isn't she entitled to more than that? But it does sound like that's what you're saying.
She's entitled to whatever she requires as a result of this untoward sexual assault.
And is the legal theory here that Uber needs to vet their drivers more carefully, and if they had known he had assault charges in another state, then they shouldn't have hired him?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well,
they have a duty because they're putting you in contact, with this person. There's no one else to protect you, so they have to do a extra special job in vetting their drivers.
Right. Well, you said it and I said it. It's a word that needs to be repeated here, compassion. It's going to take a lot of that to help this young lady through the situation. So I hope she finds a compassionate legal professional soon so they can get started on this.
Yeah, well, we would certainly like to help.
I know you would, and I know you'd be great at it. Bruce, thank you once again for handling this so professionally, and your decades of experience really show at moments like this. Thank you.
You're welcome, and I'll speak to you next Wednesday.
Absolutely. Take care now. Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured. If you have a question that you'd like to ask, you can go the route of going to our website and putting Bruce in the keyword search box. Type your question in there, and maybe it shows up on a future show. On the other hand, if it's something rather serious like this, I would bypass the radio station website, quite frankly, and get a hold of the Port Charlotte office of Associates and Bruce L. Scheiner at 941-743-7777. 941-743-7777. And tell them that Todd sent you. Kicks Country 92.9.